Hello. This is Aubrey Bursch with Easy School Marketing. I'm excited you're here with me today. We're going to dive into 5 common new family mistakes. Now, we all have new families at our school, and some of us have received quite a few, many of them, as we've seen peak enrollment happen recently. Now, new families are really important, and the goal with new families is to keep them, right? So how do we keep new families? Well, here's some 5 mistakes that if you avoid will help at least in those retention efforts. So mistake number 1, this especially I will say is applicable to the first couple of months of school. Mistake number 1 is assuming you haven't made a mistake. I love this one. So it takes more than 5 positive interactions to outweigh a negative one, okay? I guarantee that in the first couple weeks of school, especially the first couple of months, you have made mistakes that you didn't even know, and you've made them with your new parents. Whether it's not giving them enough information at carpool, they're not going to tell you. When they end up dropping off Sally at the wrong checkpoint because you didn't send the email showcasing where the right one was. Or maybe it's they had a poor experience during their parent orientation, or the new family potluck was a complete disaster and no one showed up. Like all these little things you might not think of as negative interactions, but they are. And I guarantee it's through no fault of your own, just the way schools work, is that you've made some of these things. So it's trying to think, you've definitely made them. So how are you going to create those positive interactions that really offset the negative ones? And that gives me to number 2, which is the mistake is not reaching out on the first day, the first week, during the first month, and throughout the year to those new families. I mean, picking up the phone I always recommend to schools, okay, who's your person who's calling? Like who their main job for the first month of whenever your school is open, August and September, or different months, okay? That person's job during those key points with this new family is to call them and to call them again and to check in on them, to email them, to make sure they have what they need and to understand their experience. Okay, listen to their experience and listen to the questions they have, the information they didn't receive. Maybe they feel a little, overwhelmed, right? You will make mistakes. So this helps offset it by those positive interactions, that really setting aside that time to make those phone calls happen, to make those emails happen, to make those positive engagements happen. Okay, that takes us number 3, under communicating. This is my favorite. A lot of schools, it's very rare that schools come to me and tell me that they're over communicating. It's usually they don't have maybe their emails structured in a set format, like teachers send on this day and this, it's rare that they're over communicating and they're always afraid to send more information. And here's the deal, especially for new families, more information is important. Now, organized information and systematic information, but the day before school, they should be receiving a reminder of everything that they need to know for carpool and what to bring and who to contact if they have any problems, right? Over communicate is so important, okay? Especially for new families during the key months of the first few months of them being at school. So don't assume and over communicate with them, right? When they become current families and they get to know the traditions and stuff like that, then you can hold back on the communications a little bit. All right, number 3, not treating them special. This is number 3. Where's it number? Yep, I think it's number 3 or 4. Oh, we're always losing track. Anywho's, this one is not treating them special, okay? So I recently went to an orientation and both new families and current families arrived at the same time. And I saw this as really a marketing mistake because this was the first time those new families had actually seen the classroom and engaged with the teacher, and they need to be treated special. So they should technically arrive maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes earlier and have that one-on-one time with the teacher and get to personally look through the classroom together, right? Because that is the way to really engage that new family and say, hey, I see you might be a little anxious, you might be a little nervous. Let's make sure that we're cementing this bond and starting off on the right foot, right? So as you're looking at your first few months and throughout the year, how do you need to treat them more special and give them a little extra time, a little extra oomph, right? Maybe, to be able to make that transition into your community and to get to know you better. All right. Number 5, this is key. Not representing the actual experience. This is your number 5 mistake, is not actually representing the experience that you sold them. Okay. And I know no one likes to talk about selling, but in the admissions process, what did you tell the family? How many kids did you say were in your classes? What were your COVID protocols? What does your school stand for? Okay. Here's a truly awful mistake, I must say, that we so commonly make, and not through any fault of our own, but it's like you ordered a chocolate chip cookie, but then you received peanut butter and you're allergic to nuts. Okay. So the ways I see this lived out is, okay, let's take COVID, for example. So you said, yes, we're really careful with COVID protocols and stuff like that. But then the parent goes to orientation and like, some people are wearing masks, some people aren't. There's not like wide enforcement. The kids are all up on each other. Like there's no space. And like those were your words. And I'm not saying what's right or wrong. I'm just saying you had said as a school that, oh, we're doing this, and we're doing that. And then this parent sees, oh, but you're not. Right? This is not in alignment with what you said. So there's a disconnection, and that causes frustration, right? Because you were looking for the chocolate chip and you got the peanut butter cookie. All right. So that is key. So always think about, are we executing the vision that we sold these parents? Right? And if the answer is maybe not, then we need to do some thinking about that. And we need to make sure that we get on track with doing that, because that's just going to breed more frustration with you along the way. Okay. I hope these tips were helpful to you. I look forward to hearing from you. Please email me at Aubrey@easyschoolmarketing.com. Take care.